Hey guys, if you're new to bourbon, this is the video for you. Today, we're gonna discover some of our favorite bourbons for beginners.
And just so you know, none of these are named Buffalo Trace.
So the reason why we picked these 5 bourbons is because they're easily accessible, they're not very expensive, and on top of that, they are very, very smooth. It's a great transition if you're not really used to having whiskey and high proof stuff that really burns when it goes down.
Yep.
This is a little different.
Yeah, these are all very approachable, lower proof, easy to get into, and you can either sip them neat, have them on the rocks. Just a really good entry level type bourbon to get into. Our first one here, Maker's Mark, number 46. So, what can we say about Maker's Mark that hasn't been said already?
Not much. All right, next.
All right, number 2. Oh, we are awesome.
Yeah.
If you didn't get anything out of this video, that's on you. So this actually isn't the classic Maker's Mark. This is a little bit of a step up, but still a really good entry-level bourbon. It's the number 46. It's aged a little bit longer than the normal Maker's Mark, and it adds a little bit of complexity to it with the French oak staves that it's aged in.
Yeah, I really like Maker's Mark because it is very accessible. It's smooth on the palate. Normally, you get a lot of caramel notes. You get vanilla. It's a very smooth and very quintessential bourbon. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. When you think bourbon, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to be looking into. Is that flavor of vanilla and caramel and sweetness and corn. And that's what you're gonna get here.
At 94 proof, it's a very sippable bourbon, so you could have it neat on the rocks, and it can also be used in a variety of cocktails. So it's very versatile.
The average MSRP of the Maker's Mark is $38. So, normally a higher end bourbon or even Scotch is gonna be upwards of $80, $90 or so. So you're getting something that's almost half the price of that, and you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, and if you saw our previous video of our favorite bourbons under 35, this one didn't make the cut just because it's a hair over that, but still a very good entry-level bourbon for beginners.
Next in line, we're going to talk about Wild Turkey 101. Now, there's a lot of videos out there and a lot of people talking about Wild Turkey 101 because of this very reason, because it's incredibly accessible, it's affordable, it's probably the more affordable one from all the ones that we're going to cover today, and it's also incredibly smooth. For it being a higher proof, right?
Yeah, this is the highest proof of the ones that we're talking about today, and as the name suggests, it's 101 proof. So even though Wild Turkey is a higher proof, it's still very approachable, and in my opinion, it's very, very sippable neat, as well as on the rocks.
Right. That's a surprising thing to me because I like my bourbons to be right at around 90 to 100 proof. This one just missed that at 101, but I still enjoy it very much, just as if, it wasn't.
And again, Wild Turkey is also very versatile. It's frequently used in mixed drinks, so it can be used in a variety of ways.
Wild Turkey being a safe bourbon, it has a lot of the same flavor profiles that you would expect from a bourbon, like caramel and vanilla and cinnamon, that kind of spice. So you're gonna get that from this as well.
Yeah, and with the Wild Turkey 101 being aged for 6 to 8 years, it does offer a little bit of complexity as well because it's had time to age longer than your entry-level bourbon.
And with the MSRP being right around $25, again, you're not wasting a ton of money on something you don't know if you're gonna like or not. That's one of the biggest reasons why, to me, Wild Turkey 101 has to be on your shelf if you are new to bourbon. Number 3, Woodford Reserve.
It's a go-to. Of the 5 bourbons that we're showing you today, in my opinion, the Woodford Reserve is the most well-rounded of the group.
Yeah, that's what it's really known for. I mean, if you want something that's a little bit more complex than the typical beginner's bourbon, I think Woodford Reserve is the way to start.
Because you're gonna get a little bit of sweetness, you're gonna get a little bit of oakiness, and you're gonna get a little bit of spice too with the Woodford Reserve.
MSRP for Woodford Reserve is $37, which again doesn't break the bank. If you're new to bourbon and you want to try something that's a little bit more complex, maybe you're already used to drinking something neat. It might not be whiskey or bourbon, but maybe that's what floats your style. I would say Woodford Reserve is the way to go.
These typically come with a non-age statement, meaning it's not going to explicitly say on the bottle how long it was aged for, but Woodfords are typically aged for 6 to 8 years, somewhere in that range.
Number 4 is Basil Hayden. Out of the 5 that we're talking about right now, to me, the Basil Hayden is the mellowest, is the one that's the smoothest. So if you're not used to drinking whiskey, or you're not used to drinking something that's high proof, or even anything other than cocktails or beer, I would say that a good starting point will be Basil Hayden.
Yeah, I mean, it comes in at a very, very low 80 proof, so it's super approachable. It's not gonna burn like some of the higher proof bourbons out there. And unlike some of the other bourbons that we're talking about, you're gonna get a little bit more floral notes in the Basil Hayden than you would in some of the other ones.
Yeah, you definitely get a lot more of those floral notes. You also get some spice, a little bit more spice than you do the caramel and vanilla flavors that you typically get from a bourbon. So it is a little bit different in that sense.
Yep.
But it's still bourbon, it's delicious. And again, if you're looking to try something that is a little bit under the proof level that you're comfortable with, Basil Hayden to me is probably my favorite lower proof bourbon that's out there.
And with an average MSRP of $39, it's a very affordable option as well. So if you're starting to see a theme for what we're talking about here, they're affordable, approachable, and very versatile, so that if you're a beginner coming into bourbon, these are some excellent choices to start out with.
Now our number 5 bottle, and this one is my personal favorite from the 5 that we're talking about today.
Oh, no kidding. Me too.
Ah, look at that.
How about that? So I guess without further ado, we'll show you the bottle.
And that is Angel's Envy. So this one I'm actually gonna open because I cannot let this bottle stand here and tease me without me pouring a little swig.
I mean, if you weren't gonna say it, I was.
Oh,
So-
all right. Don't tease me, Angel's Envy.
Give me some of that Angel.
So out of these 5, this is the one that's finished in port barrels. Now, for those that don't know, the finishes in these barrels play a massive role in the flavor profile that they get. So the port, because it's incredibly sweet, it's a port wine, it's absorbed in the wood of the barrels. And when you put the whiskey in there to age, it assumes some of those flavors from the port.
Yeah, so Angel's Envy, this is one of the first bourbons that I was introduced to, and it's actually the only distillery in Louisville that I've been to so far.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We gotta change that.
Yeah. And Angel's Envy comes in at a very approachable 86.6 proof.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Yeah, very, very specific. But again, it's very, very drinkable. I prefer this one neat. I don't usually like to use Angel's Envy in cocktails, just because I enjoy the taste of it neat so much.
So now we're talking about a higher price point too. This is $49. So again, it's not crazy, but it's still up there. Now it's starting to get in the middle range. And you don't want to spend that money and then you just pour a bunch of Coke or put something in there that's going to change the flavors. So this is one that you drink neat, or maybe with an ice cube or a splash of water, and you enjoy it that way. Oh, well, I'm already getting the caramel.
Yeah, caramel. I get some red fruit in there, like raspberries or even cherries.
Yeah,
And that's probably has to do with the port influence on it, but it's very sweet. It's got some of those fruity notes in it too.
yeah. It almost smells to me like caramelized apple or caramelized peach, something that has to do with caramel and fruit together. Because you definitely both are incredibly pronounced in this.
You even get some of the oakiness on the taste for that one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, hands down, this is my favorite one of the group that we talked about today. But it's very much an entry-level bourbon for beginners.
Especially if you want to get into something that's a little bit more flavorful and robust, something that has a longer finish. This is definitely an option because to me it just keeps evolving and changing as it's in the mouth. I love this one. You definitely get that honey pear, honey fruit flavor. You get a lot of caramel, and then it starts kind of evolving as it lingers in your mouth. So this is a great one to me. Again, my top one out of the 5 that we drank. If you're a beginner, definitely check out any one of these bottles and you're gonna look like a pro in no time.
Yeah.
So which is your favorite bourbons from these? If you're not a beginner, what was your beginner bourbon? Let us know in the comments below because we want to hear from you.
If you're just starting out with bourbons right now, what ones have you been introduced to? What ones have you enjoyed so far? We can add that to a future video as well.
Please like and subscribe for more whiskey adventures with us. And while we enjoy this Angel's Envy, we're going to let you know. Until next time,
Cheers.
Cheers. I kind of enjoy drinking it neat and enjoying it, you know, on a warm summer's eve. But with Wild Turkey 101, Even though it is slightly higher proof, I can't take you anywhere, man. I look at you like...
Don't look this way.
It is still incredibly smooth. Like, I could definitely sit... What the fuck is happening?
I don't know.